for our audience that might be wondering, like, why are you guys always talking, guys and gal, I should say, always talking about worker strike back? If you didn't hear it in multiple streams, RBN really believes in this worker strike back. We reached out to Kshama to make sure that RBN is included in from the beginning. And you saw that with Nick in Seattle. You saw that with Sabby now in Boston. So this is what we're one of the things that we're advocating for. So if you're one of our audience, you know, if you're in our audience in our community and you're always saying like, what can I do? This is what we're saying. We're suggesting you get involved with. So you never know, like there might be 10 people right now, and that's in Orlando that just heard what JB said. That be well, let's open one in Orlando. So just wanted to shout that out.
Trust me, when I was there, RBN felt home in Seattle. Like these are our people. These are the people who had enough of the two-party duopoly. Everyone there saw through the Marianne Williamson bullshit, and they are there to organize and fight. And a lot of the people I've spoken to was energized, and they are motivated by the actions that Rome is doing, that what other people are doing. It's infectious, and that's the infectious disease we want to spread, the disease of activism. We want to spread that around to everyone that left. And that's why, despite all the ops on, always try to tell you guys ignore like all these Democrat ops on Twitter and stuff, because that's not real. Like if you go out there and speak to activists, speak to people who are in the street who are actually passionate about these issues, they hear what we say and they vibing with that. It's only these people who are Democrats who hear RBN message and they feel threatened, and that's why they're not popping up worker strike back, because these are the people who only want to organize within the Democratic Party. Yep. If it's not a DNC sanctioned event, they don't want any part of it. It doesn't matter if it's a libertarian organizing it. It doesn't matter if it's a socialist organizing it. And if there's not Democrats, it does not further the agenda of the two-party duopoly. These people are not interested. JB, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the Worker Strike Back website right now. They're going to have a launch rally in Houston, Texas. So on March 16th. So be aware of that. That's in 2 days. So this Thursday, they're going to have a Worker Strike Back launch. If you're in Texas, then you guys may want to get down there to Houston. All right.
Can you share that? Can you share that, JB? Because I'm going to ask you to go to a different part on the website. Can you share that? I was going to share it, but if you already have it up, if you will, please. Oh, let me take this banner down. Yeah, because I want to just because we just said how RBN like believes in this, so maybe we should show the 5 demands that are there, and they're pretty on point demands. So let's just show people what their demands are, and you can announce what you just said if you wanted to. So show people again.
Sure. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that demands really quick. Okay. I'll say so. Number 1 says workers need a real raise. It says Biden and corporate politicians in Congress keep giving themselves raises, but can't pass a bare $15 federal minimum wage for working people. We strongly support the fight for $25 an hour starting wage by workers trying to unionize their workplaces in major cities that are just a basic living wage. As prices skyrocket on everything from food to housing, we need at least 20% raise for all workers with automatic cost of living increases above inflation going forward. Instead of long hours and multiple jobs just to pay the bills, we need to shorten the work week with no loss in pay and benefits. We work to live, not live to work. Based. Number 2 is good union jobs for all. Of course, that is self-explanatory. Number 3 is fight racism, sexism, and all oppression. This is deeply important, especially for those of us at RBN. We are an all-Black organization, so this is also deeply important for us. And then number 4 is quality, affordable housing and free healthcare for all, and that's also very self-explanatory.
Can you pause right there? Can you pause right there? Now, you tell me, number 4, what human does that not affect in the United States?
Absolutely.
That's every single human is affected by number 4.
Absolutely.
So that's important. Brings us all together. And the last one is my favorite. I think there's one more, right? There should be one more,
And number 5 says, no more sellouts. We need a new party.
No more sellouts. I love that.
And this is why they didn't have Kshama on.
Yep. And the fact that Kshama aggressively calls out not only just AOC and Bernie Sanders, but Ryan Grimm. Like Kshama doesn't fuck around.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't, and that's the kind of shit that get you blacklisted by the people who are deeply unserious. They're more interested in maintaining a social club, a social hierarchy, than actually organizing and creating wins for the proletariat. But go ahead, JB.
And I just give this one blurb a read. It says, the Democrats and Republicans both answer to the billionaires. That's why working people keep getting screwed. I love how they just so plain with it. Even so-called progressives in Congress have completely failed to fight against the establishment and offer no solutions.
Pause.
We need a new. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's the part Nick just referred. This is why they said they got to that part. Everybody said, "Oh hell no, we can't fuck with this shit." They said, I got AOC on speed dial. I got so and so on this. There's no way I can do this because this is eating into my money. That's literally, in my opinion, what happened. So go ahead, JB.
Yep. We need a new multiracial working class party that organizes movements and fights unambiguously for our needs. In such a party, all elected leaders would accept only the average worker's wage, like Seattle Council member Kshama Sawant.
Wow.
Yeah, there were even at the Boston launch, there were even Green Party members that came that support this. Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Loving it.
We would need elected leaders to be fully accountable to our membership and our demands, or else be removed. We need a party that consistently opposes war and imperialism. Under capitalism, the bosses call the shots and have a dictatorship over our workplaces. We need a fundamentally different kind of society run by and for working people, not billionaires.
Based.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I hope that kind of sums up why we're behind. I mean, if I got the chills when you read that, but I hope that sums up why we're behind it. So go ahead. I love the no sellout section. I love the no sellout section of that.
Oh my God, me too.
Love that.
And so
go ahead.
Back to the events portion. Talks about there's a Houston one coming in this Thursday at March 16th at 7 p.m. So if you guys can make it there, please make it there. Let us know. And if you guys can, also, grab out your phones, record some of it so that, we can see it on, Twitter, especially if you're on Twitter, so that we can see what has been said, right?
We need to do a tweet. One day we need to do a tweet storm for WSB on Twitter to get it trending.
That's true. Very good. Also in Madison, Wisconsin, in 4 days, this Saturday is going to have a launch rally in Madison, Wisconsin. So that's going to be at 2 p.m. Then I saw this one. This one caught my attention. Seattle monthly meeting, bring the railroads into public ownership on time. Ain't this on time, y'all?
That was another thing that they brought up at the launch, was really collaborating with the railroad workers and trying to make it public, like a public ownership. And you guys got so many shout outs. Like, seriously, like the railroad workers, like everybody knows you guys. Even though you haven't met them, everybody knows you guys. Like the railroad workers were like, they really appreciate like the coverage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is giant. I'm gonna say this pretty definitively, right? I think people criticize Kshama because they said, why would she quit public office in order to create this outside group? So let me say this 100% definitively here. This is way more important than even local electoral politics. This is way more important. So Kshama using her influence, her power, and honestly her ability to effectively communicate and organize left ideas. This is way more important on the national stage. No disrespect to Seattle and the gains they made there, but this is a great use of your time and resources, 100%. Because I it wasn't even like a hard criticism, but I have seen people say it that Kshama probably should stay in office instead doing this. But I 100% disagree, especially now after seeing everything that happened here. So Anything you guys else want to add to this? And I'll get back to the story. If not, go ahead, JB.
Just the last one. It says, how to organize your workplace. Workers strike back in Pittsburgh. So this is going to be Saturday on April 8th. So they're going to be actually teaching workers how to organize their workplace, which is also deeply important. Yeah. So this is one of the reasons why Workers Strike Back is such an important resource. And just like what Kwame Ture said, every single revolutionary that has ever existed that we have a high amount of respect for, you know, I don't care if you're going from Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, you're talking to Angela Davis and all the rest. They all belong to organizations, and this is why it's so important. So organizations like Workers Strike Back are invaluable.
100%. That's why we advocate joining an organization or creating one. I became to change I wanted to see. I'm like, fuck it, I'll create my own shit. We had 10 demands. I started. And I'm like, fuck it, let's start another one. And we had RBN. So do whatever you can. Like you don't have to create a nationwide game-changing organization, but anything on a local level with you and your friends, people you know, like-minded people, neighbors, they want to create change. It's a great start. And trust me, it will make you feel really great when you actually do get engaged.